Hello everyone, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you details of the Wednesday City Council meeting, an announcement from the Ridgecrest Police Department, an announcement from the Historical Society of the Upper Mojave Desert, today's KZGN Talking Points editorial, weather sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Whitnick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. Now here's the results of Wednesday's evening City Council meeting. First on the agenda, the Council presented a proclamation to Bob Peoples and representatives of the International Community Day Working Group, recognizing the month of April as Jazz Appreciation Month. Next, the Council got a presentation of the Public Works Quarterly Report. This was an excellent report of all the road maintenance the city has done recently and the work to be done this year. And finally, they received a presentation on the use of tax allocation or TAB funds. Gary Parsons provided a detailed report of what TAB funds are allotted for and where the rest are supposed to be spent. The next part of the meeting was the consent calendar. Here they discussed these items. First, they adopted a resolution authorizing the application for federal funding under the Federal Transit Act with the California Department of Transportation. Then they adopted a resolution to approve a professional service agreement with the engineering firm of Quadnoff in the amount of about $32,000 to prepare applications for the Congestion Mitigation Air Quality Program, the Active Transportation Program, and the Regional Surface Transportation Program. Next, they adopted two resolutions to approve a professional service agreement with the engineering firm of David Evans & Associates in the amount of $15,000 to prepare an application for the Highway Safety Improvement Program, and another contract for traffic engineering service in the amount of $11,900. Then they adopted a resolution approving contract change orders in the amount of $13,000 and $34,000 with CS Legacy Construction for the Corporation Yard site improvements. Next, they approved a $34,000 contract for Community Development Activity Agreement with the County of Kern for the design only for the Senior Center improvements. Then they adopted a resolution approving adjustments to the Parks and Recreation Department youth programs and facility rental fees. This was an increase in the fees charged to use city facilities. The fees had not been raised in years and had to be to cover the costs associated with providing the facilities. Basically, it was about a 10% increase of all fees. That was a long list of things on the consent calendar. In the discussion and other action items part of the meeting, they considered these items. First, they tabled an appointment to the Personnel Commission. Lori Acton was supposed to provide a nominee, but she was absent from the meeting. Then they did have a nomination and appointment of Jerry Poteet to the Measure L Citizens Advisory Committee. Then they held a discussion of a code of ethics and conduct for elected and appointed officials. While they reviewed examples from other cities, they decided there was no need for the city to adopt one. And the last item on the agenda was a discussion in regards to the water use of the fountain located at the City Hall Kerr-McGee Community Center complex. They decided the water use was so low compared to the benefit of having it on that they would leave it on and operating as is. So that's the wrap-up of Wednesday City Council meeting. In an expansion of one of the Council agenda items, here are the details presented by Gary Parsons on the distribution and use of TAB funds. These are almost $25 million the city got the last time they sold bonds to fund the redevelopment agency. Since Sacramento did away with redevelopment agencies, the Ridgecrest Authority was formed to manage the remaining dollars under the supervision of the State Department of Finance. The current distribution for the $24.9 million is as follows. Public Works is using about $12.2 million. Parks and Recreation will use about $3 million. Economic Development will use about $3.2 million, and about $6.5 million will be used on special projects. The $12.2 million on Public Works was for various road construction in the new Corporation Yard, traffic signals, and other public works projects. So far, they have used about $9.5 million of the $12.2 million allocated. For the Parks and Rec allotment of $3 million, they have allocated only about $440,000. The rest is still in limbo for projects yet to be determined. So far, they have purchased a new concession stand for $207,000, and they have paid for about $240,000 in studies for new park facilities, new facilities like a new aquatic park, expansion of the Kerr-McGee ball fields, and other studies. For economic development's allotment of $3.2 million, they have spent $26,000 on Balsam Street branding, Chamber of Commerce got $100,000, and about $2.9 million was spent on economic development. Approximately $2.5 million was granted to business startups in the city. RACVB got $55,000, and $250,000 was allotted to code enforcement. So that leaves about $7.8 million still uncommitted. While the funds are allocated for certain areas, they are still not on contract for anything specific. The city is also trying to tap these funds to support their lawsuits against the state in two areas. First is a suit over funds allocated to a senior citizen project, and a fund to pay for the solar plant the city installed using TAB funds. So these suits will have to be decided to finalize TAB fund spending. Also within these funds was $2.2 million is going to be spent on infrastructure around the new Super Walmart project. These are infrastructure improvements the city decided to help pay a fair share of the costs, while Walmart is also paying a substantial amount for some of those infrastructure improvements. Now here's a request from the Ridgecrest Police Department. Recently, the police department has seen an increase in locating people trespassing or living in properties that are supposed to be vacant. People find these vacant properties and just move in. Often squatters move into a property and create an eyesore and health hazard for the neighborhood. In most cases, the squatters will damage or destroy the property, causing the owner an undue financial burden. If you see a property being used by squatters, please contact the police department and report it. If you have a vacant property you would like the police department to check on frequently, please contact the Code Enforcement Officer, Fred Booth, at 760-499-5118, or his email is fbooth@ridgecrest-ca.gov, or send a Facebook message to the Ridgecrest Police Department Facebook page. Everyone is encouraged to notify the police department if you see any suspicious people around homes, vacant or occupied. Now stay with us. After the break, we'll have an announcement from the Historical Society of the Upper Mojave Desert. Thanks for staying with us. Now here's an announcement from the Historical Society of Upper Mojave Desert. Have you ever wondered how you got to where you are? Oh, I know how I got here. I turned right off 395 on the South China Lake Boulevard. Okay, wait a minute. I bet that's not what they're talking about here. I bet they're talking about family background. They're asking, would you like to start digging around that family tree, learning some fascinating history, and make some new friends along the way? Well, there's a group forming right here in Ridgecrest to help get you going on that special journey. The Historical Society of the Upper Mojave Desert Genealogy Committee is offering Family History Research 101. It will be hosted by Steve Parker. This free course will begin on Tuesday, April 12th at 7 p.m. at the historic USO building. The USO building is at 230 West Ridgecrest Boulevard. For more information, contact Steve at 760-301-4641. Come join the family fun. Again, call Steve at 760-301-4641. Now it's time for the 133rd KZGN News Talking Points editorial. Here's today's topic. Did the City Council vote to keep the water fountain on the right vote? Well, last night, at the request of the mayor, the City Council took up the issue of the water fountain at City Hall. After an analysis presentation by staff, they voted to leave it on. I agree with that decision. Here's the details. There are a few people in the community that believe that since there is a water problem in the valley, that it is not appropriate for the city to waste water running a water fountain, that running the fountain wastes a lot of water, that using water for a frivolous use is hurting the state-mandated reduction in use. First, let's take the quantitative issues. First, the fountain water use was analyzed by staff. They determined the actual use of water equated to about 21,000 gallons per year. Comparing this to the average use of an adult male for a year, we use about 50,000 gallons per year. So, The fountain only uses about 40% of what one person uses in a year. Insignificant at best. Next, it hurts the state-mandated water reduction the water district customers have to reduce or get fined by the state. This fountain has no effect on that reduction rate. This is because the City Hall complex is on its own well. It is not supplied by the water district, so water use at the complex does nothing to the mandated reduction rate. Now, we do need to talk about the actual use. Yes, the water does come from the aquifer, and yes, it has some impact to the water level. But again, only at the rate of 1/2 a person per year. Now the issue of principle. Some feel that the city running it kind of mocks the rest of us that we have to conserve, but they don't. So, turning it off would be symbolic in that it shows the city is serious about saving every drop of water they can. That would be true. However, I heard one of these symbolic principle complainers that lives out in the county and has their own well, so they are under no mandate to conserve like city residents. And this complainer also has an abundance of decorative vegetation and even a small pond with a little waterfall running. So this complainer complains about the city running a water fountain, as they almost do the same thing. Yeah, that's principled, all right. Now let's address aesthetics of the fountain. It's a quality of life issue. Staff reported the fountain offers many uses that help our quality of life. While it may be a small contribution, it is still a positive contribution. Staff reported that many weddings and other events are done there due to the fountain running. Many times per year, people rent the complex facilities, and the fountain sometimes helps in that decision. People like it as a backdrop to pictures and other things. So, now let's talk about our hot summer days and evenings. Staff reported that oftentimes people are seen sitting around the fountain on hot evenings enjoying the cool air it puts off. And at times you can see a kid or two sitting on the edge of the fountain dangling their legs into it. Of course, it is not a swimming pool for people to get into. But what's the harm of a simple enjoyment of it on a hot evening? And then there's the classy appearance of it. Often potential new residents, new business prospects, and base customers get tours of the city. Often, one of the stops is the City Hall complex. While it is minor in the whole picture, more than one visitor will notice and comment on the appearance of the fountain. Now the dry part of the analysis. Cost to operate it versus shutting it down. There is the lighting and the pump running it. However, since the City Hall complex is solar powered, there is no SCE bill to operate the fountain. Then consider the cost of shutting it down. If it was just turned off, the equipment and the piping would start to decay. If the fountain was shut down for a lengthy period of time, and then there was a decision made to start it up again, it could cost a few $1,000s to bring it back to operational condition. And then how attractive is an empty, decaying fountain? Someone might suggest just take it out. Sure, but that would cost a few $1,000s as well. So while water conservation is important, and we all need to do our share, turning off the fountain would not have been the right decision. Sure, turning it off would have shown support by the city for water conservation, but it would have been little more than a symbolic gesture. The positives to leaving it on are significant. It uses very little water, there is little cost to maintain, it adds to our quality of life in more than one way, and oh, one more thing, it is the center of the city's dedication to veterans. This is the area of Freedom Park where tribute is paid to our veterans. It is also a plus to renting out the complex facilities to weddings and other events. And for those of you that have never visited Freedom Park at City Hall, take a little break this weekend or some weekend soon. Visit it. You just might be surprised at what you see there. In conclusion, the council voting to leave the fountain running was a good thing. It was the right decision. I'm Tom Whittick, and that's what I think. I'd like to know what you think. If you have any comments about this editorial or would like to discuss or recommend a topic, I'd like to hear from you. Please email them to info@kzgn.net. Thanks for staying with us. Now here's Lane with the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, A series of storm systems moving across the northern U.S. will bring the potential for strong winds and wintry weather from portions of the Great Lakes to New England through Friday. Isolated flash flooding is possible in Maine. Meanwhile, a Pacific storm system will bring beneficial rain to the southwest, including much of drought-stricken California through the weekend. Temperatures across the nation. Carolinas at 67, Georgia at 69, Arkansas at 77, Northern Texas at 76, New Mexico at 65, and Los Angeles at 65. And for us locally, tonight, a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, cloudy with a low around 55, south wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. Friday, a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms, cloudy with a high near 73, west wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday night, a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy with a low around 50, south-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 15. Saturday, a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy with a high near 70, south wind 5 miles per hour. Saturday night, a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy with a low around 49, south-southwest wind 10 miles per hour. Sunday, a 30% chance of showers, partly sunny with a high near 72, south-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday night, a 20% chance of showers, mostly cloudy with a low around 50, southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 25. And Monday, a 20% chance of showers, partly sunny with a high near 72, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. And that is your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
So that's the news for today. Also, KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk coming up next.